What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Sports Mania. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing a mock draft 2.0. This is my second mock draft. I've already done one, and that was on a different website. This is on Pro Football Network Mock Draft Simulator, instead of the Draft Network. We can do trades for free on this one. So I'm going to be doing that, and I hope you guys enjoy this video. So let's get right into it. With the first overall pick, I have the Jaguars taking Trevor Lawrence. It is obvious Trevor Lawrence has been amazing. I mean, it's that simple. Trevor Lawrence, really, if the Jaguars pass up on him, that is the mistake of the century or of the decade. And then the Jets. The Jets is a difficult one because you look at the Jets, and of course they need a help on the offensive line, but then they need a quarterback. I truly don't think any of that will happen. I think the Jets will trade with the Houston Texans. I think the Jets, I don't really see the Jets. I think the Jets would much rather have Deshaun Watson. So the Jets will trade their second overall pick. They will trade their 23rd. They will trade a next year first and a 2022 first for Deshaun Watson. Of course, you can't do Deshaun Watson on this. And Deshaun Watson in a 6th round pick. There we go. 4 first-round picks for Deshaun Watson in a 6th round pick. And now we got the Texans on the clock. The Texans will take Zach Wilson. I think it's pretty obvious. Maybe Justin Fields, but I think Zach Wilson is the better quarterback. I think I think I would definitely have Justin Fields go in second if he had a better national championship game, but I got Zach Wilson. Dolphins with 3rd overall pick. I think they're going to take a receiver, and that receiver will be DeVonta Smith. A lot of question for offensive line, and I really think they could go receiver. I think they could go and get Allen Robinson in free agency, but I think DeVonta Smith they're not going to pass up on. Allen Robinson isn't guaranteed in free agency. No receiver is guaranteed in free agency, and I don't think they're going to want to pass up on DeVonta Smith, and if they do, they will go with Penei Sewell. And then with the 4th overall pick, Atlanta Falcons. I got the Atlanta Falcons taking the other quarterback. The third best quarterback in the draft, Justin Fields. Justin Fields probably had a great season for the Big Ten, but I just don't think it was good enough for him to get the 1st overall pick or the 2nd overall pick. I really think he's saving his self from the Texans to the Jets, and I would rather go to the Falcons if I was him. So I think this is a good pickup for the Falcons. 5th overall pick, I have the Bengals taking Rashawn Slater. And a lot of people are going to question this. Here, where's Rashawn Slater? There he is. A lot of people are going to question that, but I think Rashawn Slater, despite opting out this season, is the best offensive lineman in the class. And people will disagree with me, I know, but Rashawn Slater is just such a big threat, and he's what the Bengals need. An offensive tackle is the biggest thing that the Bengals need. They just need a big offensive lineman to protect Burrow from his blind side. Slater can do that. 6th overall pick, I have the Eagles taking Ja'Marr Chase out of LSU. He opted out of the 2021 college football season, 2020 college football season. But he's still a great player. He connected with Joe Burrow very well in 2019. And after the Eagles cut in, Jalen Reagor was a bit of a disappointment this season for the Eagles. And they cut DeSean Jackson recently. Most likely we could be seeing Alshon Jeffrey get cut this offseason as well. Ja'Marr Chase would be a great fill-in for them. 7th overall pick, I have the Lions. This one's tough because the Lions, really, they could go really anyone right here. You look at their team needs, and it's just a lot. there's a lot that they need. Maybe they could go Penei Sewell. I don't think they will though. And they could go Kyle Pitts. They could go Jalen Waddle. I think they will go Jalen Waddle though. I think Jalen Waddle is a need for them. Marvin Jones and Kenny Golladay will both most likely be out of the will most likely be out of the Motor City next season, and I don't expect them to stick with Danny. I think they need a true number one. And you look at the Lions picks, they're going to need to take, they have the 41, 72, and 88. I think they could go a receiver at 41 to maybe Kadarius Toney, but Jalen Waddle's a good pick. 8th overall pick. The Panthers, they could go linebacker. I think a linebacker would be a big need. A linebacker is a big need for them, but I don't think it's as big as a need as they need a tight end. I don't think Ian Thomas is the guy, but then they need Penei Sewell. This is a really tough pick for me to make. And then you look at the guys, Broncos maybe, Cowboys maybe, but I got the Panthers actually taking. I'm gonna have the Panthers taking Trey Lance right here. I think maybe we could see them trade up and go Justin Fields. Maybe they even go Zach Wilson. But they could trade for Deshaun Watson. But this, based on what this draft is looking like, I have Watson going to the Jets. So the Panthers will still take a quarterback. Now the Broncos are up. I think the Broncos will take a cornerback, no doubt about it. It's just which cornerback are they going to take? Are they going to take Farley or are they going to take Surtain? And I think they're going to take Surtain. I don't think they're going to pass on Surtain. Surtain's the best cornerback in the class. Many will disagree and say Farley is. Surtain is the best corner in the college football. 10th overall pick. The Cowboys, I don't think they need a cornerback as much as they need offensive line, and that's Penei Sewell. Penei Sewell is the number 2 player in the class. I haven't fallen to 10, and that is just a heck of a pick from the Cowboys. They have Tyron Smith, but Tyron Smith is very expensive, and he's getting up there in age. La'el Collins isn't. It's injury prone, and Penei Sewell could be a steal. 11th overall pick, I got the Giants taking Caleb Farley. Many people have the Broncos taking Farley, and the Giants taking Surtain. I have the opposite. Now the 49ers, 12th overall pick. I don't expect I think the 49ers with Kyle Pitts would be very good, so I think they will take Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, many people are going to question that. Why would they do that? They have Kittle. Kittle, as he gets older, is going to start becoming more of a blocking tight end like Rob Gronkowski. Kittle, I know, is still a force in the receiving game, but imagine Kyle Pitts can virtually play wide receiver. You could have Kyle Pitts is so athletic, and Kyle Pitts could play wide receiver for them. As a big man wide receiver to play in the slot, and they could play Kittle at tight end. It makes sense. And with the 13th overall pick, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. They got to go offensive line, and that's Darrisaw. Christian Darrisaw is a great player, and the Chargers really need offensive line more than anything. Brian Bulaga was a good offensive tackle this season, but they needed help on the blind side for Herbert. They don't have an answer for that. And the Chargers can be a real threat if they can protect Herbert, and Herbert can get the ball off to Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. 14th overall pick, I got the Minnesota Vikings. Actually, I think the Minnesota Vikings, they could go Kwity Paye, edge rusher, but they got Daniel Hunter, who can pretty much play on the edge. I think they actually will go an offensive lineman, and that's Elijah Vera Tucker. Elijah Vera Tucker is another player like Christian Darrisaw, an offensive tackle, and that's what the Vikings need. The Vikings are having trouble at corner, but you look at the Vikings picks, the Vikings can probably go 78 and 90, both go defensive line or something like that, but I don't think at 14 the Vikings need to go defense. I think they need to go offensive line. And then we got the 15th overall pick, my favorite team, the New England Patriots. Many people are going to be like, oh, yeah, you guys are taking Mac Jones. No, we're not. if he's left, Micah Parsons is the best defensive player in this class. No team needs a linebacker as much as the Patriots do in the 15 picks above them, and that's why I have him fallen so late to the Patriots at 15. Micah Parsons has just simply been so good for us. Micah Parsons has been just so good for Penn State. And Micah Parsons, I can picture him doing great with the New England Patriots. And people are going to argue he's not going to go at 15. He's going to go. The only other team that I can see taking Micah Parsons is the Detroit Lions. But with Kenny Golladay and Marvin Jones leaving the free agency, they are going to take a wide receiver 100% more than they need. They need a wide receiver 100% more than they need a linebacker. Same thing with the Eagles. They need a wide receiver 100% more than a linebacker. So that's why I have Micah Parsons falling so late. But now on to the Cardinals, 16th overall pick. Cardinals could go edge just because Chandler Jones has been injury prone in recent seasons. They could go linebacker. Linebacker wouldn't be an awful pick. Cornerback wouldn't be an awful pick. And I think they will go cornerback. The J.C. Horn out of South Carolina was solid. Many people have him going as a second rounder, maybe even a third rounder. But J.C. Horn, he was good enough. And J.C. Horn with Patrick Peterson most likely going into free agency. They don't have any talent at corner. Budda Baker and Byron Murphy are both more of safeties, so they definitely need help at corner. And J.C. Horn could be a great addition to that secondary, replacing Patrick Peterson. 17th overall pick, I have the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, maybe they go Gregory Rousseau. I don't think they need edge as much as they need linebacker. And Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is their guy. He's been amazing at Notre Dame, carrying that defense. But really, the biggest thing for them is they need help at linebacker. The Raiders don't have a linebacking core, and they really need that above all things. Sometimes they use like D lineman at linebacker. They got Corey Littleton, who's played well, but he's not good enough to just carry that defense. They need a linebacker to go with him, and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is a guy they can take. The 18th overall pick, Devontae Smith went 3 for the Dolphins. I have 18. I think the Dolphins, they could go running back. I could see that. I could see them even going defense with this pick, but I think they're going to take a running back, and I think that's Najee Harris. Najee Harris, I believe, is better than Travis Etienne. I think Travis Etienne will go to a team like maybe Buffalo, or maybe he'll go to he'll go probably later in the later rounds. Najee Harris, on the other hand, can catch the ball very well. When you think of Najee Harris, you think of a big bulk running back who just is a power back and has some speed to cut to the outside, acceleration. He's more than that. He can catch the ball so well for his size. And Najee Harris, adding Najee Harris and Devontae Smith in the same draft would be huge. You got the chemistry from Alabama, and so you have the three Alabama men, Tua, Najee Harris, and Devontae Smith. That'd be deadly. Washington with the 19th overall pick. I'm sorry, Bears fans. I know you guys want him, but I'm sorry. Mac Jones going to Washington. And I know a lot of people are questioning this, and I am too. I really don't know if the Washington will take a quarterback anymore because Taylor Heinicke signed a 2-year deal, and I could see Taylor Heinicke being their starter next year. But Taylor Heinicke played one career game with Washington. How much are you going to trust him to go in and walk in week 1 with a hyped up team next year? I mean, I think maybe you have Alex Smith, Heinicke, and Mac Jones. You start Alex Smith the first 2 weeks, and then Mac Jones can sit out the whole season and learn from Alex Smith, and then you swap off Heinicke and Mac Jones in 2022. I could see that, but I think Mac Jones is the better deal than Taylor Heinicke. 20th overall pick, we got the Bears. I think the Bears won't go edge or defense at all. I think the defense was the brightest part of the team this year. I think they got to go offensive line, and they got Samuel Cosme's there. Tevin Jenkins is there. Mel Kiper has Tevin Jenkins going. I don't think Tevin Jenkins is the guy. I think Samuel Cosmi is the guy. Samuel Cosmi, great offensive line, and the Bears' biggest weakness was their offensive line. Their offensive line was so lackluster, and it wasn't explosive at all. They need it to be more explosive for them if they want to succeed. And the Bears, they just really got to upgrade their offense. Maybe they bring in a new quarterback in the second round or in the offseason. Maybe they bring in Deshaun Watson. But Samuel Cosmi, he's going to be their guy, in my opinion. And for the offensive line, stack it up. 21st overall pick, I got the Colts taking the go for Rashad Bateman. Rashad Bateman was huge for for Minnesota, and he's been their guy for a long time. And the Colts just need a big play wide receiver. Rashad Bateman and Michael Pittman, two young wide receivers, would be perfect together. The Colts need to move on from T.Y. Hilton. He's out of his prime, he's expensive, and he's old. He's overhyped, and he's overrated. T.Y. Hilton isn't their guy. They need Rashad Bateman and Michael Pittman will be great together next season. 22nd overall pick, I got the Tennessee Titans. Really, the Tennessee Titans need a lot. I think Jadeveon Clowney will not go back to them. And I think they go edge rusher. I think edge rusher would make a lot of sense. Christian Barmore, I don't know about that. But I have them taking Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye was a great edge rusher for the University of Michigan. He was with Josh Uche and Chase Winovich a lot of his Michigan career. So Kwity Paye will be a good pick for them. They need help at edge rusher. Many people believe in Harold Landry. Harold Landry's an inside defensive lineman. He's not an edge rusher. And then they got Clowney, who's their only edge rusher. Clowney, if he does come back, Clowney and Kwity Paye would be a deadly combo. 23rd overall pick, the Texans traded by the Jets. I think the Texans, do they go Travis Etienne right here? They could go wide receiver. I think their pick is too late to go wide receiver. I think they go Terrace Marshall or Kadarius Toney in the later rounds. But I think they'll go Travis Etienne right here. They need a running back desperately, and Duke Johnson is a lot of money. Duke Johnson isn't their guy, to be honest. And they could go offensive line. I could see them doing that. But they got a lot of draft capital. 67, I could see them going offensive line. And I just don't think, I think 23, they need an offensive line. They need a help at the running game. David Johnson is a clear bust. And then, of course, Duke Johnson, he's solid, but they need Travis Etienne out of the backfield catching the ball would be deadly. Next, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I didn't have Etienne going to the Texans, I would have Etienne going to the Steelers. But now you got to consider, did the Steelers go defense or did they go quarterback? I think the Steelers may release Big Ben into free agency. And you look at the quarterback situation, and you got Kyle Trask right here. Kyle Trask isn't a first-round quarterback. I'm sorry, Steelers fans. Maybe you go him in the second round, but I think the Steelers will take a defensive player. I think it's going to be a secondary player. Or they could go offensive line. This is tough. I'm going to have them go on offensive line. I'm going to have them go Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama. They need help in the offensive tackle position because Andrew Villanova will be exiting going into free agency. Marquise Pouncey could easily be going into free agency as well, but Alex Leatherwood would be a good replacement, and you always were rather young than old. So the Jaguars with 25th overall pick. I think the Jaguars need to go defense with this pick. They took their guy, Trevor Lawrence, but they need help on the defense. Their defense was so bad this season, and they got their running back of the future, and they got a few solid receivers. But I think they should go maybe Azeez Oluwaji, or whatever his name is. But I think they will go Gregory Rousseau right here. Gregory Rousseau was a great edge rusher for Miami, very hyped up going into 2020, and many considered he would be in the top 5 draft picks this season. Sadly, that was not the case, and Gregory Rousseau was predicted to fall out of the first round because of his opt-out. I think Gregory Rousseau would be a great fit for the Jaguars to pair with Cle'Veon Chase on. 26th overall pick, I got the Cleveland Browns taking Christian Barmore out of Alabama. Christian Barmore would be a great pickup for them because pairing him with Sheldon Richardson would be absolutely deadly. Sheldon Richardson is getting old and he's a lot of money, so the Browns could move on from him, but Christian Barmore would be a great pair with him, and that would be very excited seeing Christian Barmore in the on defense with Myles Garrett and Sheldon Richardson and Olivier Vernon. So with the 27th pick, I got the Ravens. The Ravens, I think they need to go either wide receiver or they need to go in the front seven because the front seven wasn't as good as we all thought it was going to be. They could go Nick Bolton to match up with Patrick Queen, or they could go a edge rusher Azeez Ojulari. I'm going to have them actually taking a wide receiver. Kadarius Toney, I have them taken. And my reasoning behind this is Kadarius Toney was a great wide receiver for Florida, and he paired up with Kyle Trask very well. Kadarius Toney is probably not a first-round talent wide receiver, but he still showed up, and he was solid. Kadarius Toney really, definitely, I think, will go in the first round just because I think there are many teams down here that could use a receiver. Saints being one, Packers being one, maybe the Buccaneers being one, the Chiefs being one, is the Steelers being one, the Jaguars being one, but I think Kadarius Toney will go to the Ravens, fall to the Ravens at 27. I could see them taking Nick Bolton as well. With Saints' 28th overall pick, I'm going to have them go with Nick Bolton out of Missouri. Nick Bolton is a need for – the Saints are in need of a linebacker. And they got Alex Anzalone, who is pretty solid, but Nick Bolton would be a great fit for them just because – the linebacker need is growing. Offensive line isn't a need. And then wide receiver, maybe they could go wide receiver in a later round. But they need help at linebacker. And some of these guys are going to be moving on from. Maybe Demario Davis they move on from just because of the contract. But Nick Bolton out of Missouri will go to the Saints at 28. With the 29th pick, I think the Packers, I think they're going to screw up and not take a receiver. I think they're going to take Ifeatu Melifonwu. I probably said that wrong. But the cornerback out of Syracuse was solid with Syracuse. He kind of exploded at the end of the season because he wasn't projected a first-round talent cornerback for the longest time. But you look at the defensive guys, Eric Stokes being one of them, Tyson Campbell, Eric Stokes, Greg Newsome. They were all projected first-round talent corners, but they're not anymore. Ifeatu Melifonwu would be a better fit, and I think the Packers they could go wide receiver. But I just think it would be a big reach for them to take Terrace Marshall in the first round. With the Bills' 30th overall pick, the Bills definitely need to take offensive line Tevin Jenkins. Tevin Jenkins was a very good offensive lineman, 6'6", 320 pounds, and Josh Allen was running for his life in the AFC Championship game, as we all know. So they need help at offensive line. Mitch Morse was a solid center once again, but other than Mitch Morse, they don't really have any help at offensive line. They can't have Josh Allen running for its life, and that's their biggest need. Cole Beasley, John Brown, and Stephon Diggs is a good receiving core. I think they can deal with their running core one more year, and then their defense, as we all know, is pretty good. And then Chiefs 31. With the 31st pick, I think the Chiefs would need to go defense right here. It makes the most sense, but the question is, who will they go? And I think they could go Zaven Collins because they need linebacker. I think their secondary is fine, and then their edge rushers are not fine. But I think they will go Azeez Ojulari. Aziz Ojulari was a very solid edge rusher for Georgia, and many people had him falling out of the first round. Some people had him falling out of the second round. I think he's a first-round talent guy, and the Chiefs need help at the pass rush. The Chiefs' worst part about the team was their pass rush this season. The offense was great, and the secondary was as well pretty good. But it was just their pass rush that struggled. Chris Jones played pretty well, and then Frank Clark, one of the overrated defensive players in the league. Aziz Ojulari would be a good fit for them. And then with the 32nd pick in the draft, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers actually taking an edge rusher, Joseph Asai. And my reasoning behind this is, let's all say everything goes bad for the Buccaneers and they lose Shaquille Barrett. That could actually happen. And Joseph Asai would be a big addition to the squad. We all know Antoine Winfield came into that secondary and did a lot in that season, and I think they got JPP and they got Shaq Barrett. Joseph Asai could sit behind them for a year, and they don't need corners, so I got them taking Joseph Asai. There you go. That is my first round mock draft. Tell me the thoughts in the comments down below as you see it right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We're on the road to 200 subscribers, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.